Hi, I'm Jeff, and this is my read on C.S. Lewis, where we learn about him through everything that he wrote in the order that he wrote it. I am joined today by my co-host, Robot Lady. Robot Lady, in this episode, Lewis is 28 years old. He is a Fellow of Magdelan College, carrying out a 5-year post as tutor in English language and literature. He also had his second book by this time called Dymer, a narrative poem published under the pseudonym Clive Hamilton. We've been following Lewis's journey up to this point through his letters to friends and to family, his early literary works, and his diary entries. So far, his early literary works for publication are only poems or poetry. He was an aspiring poet at this time, as well as his diary entries. I think I already said that. From 1922 to 1927, early 1927, Lewis kept the diary of his daily life at the request of Mrs. Moore, his deceased friend Paddy Moore's mother. We've reached the end of that diary in our project, and we have picked up on some more letters from that time period, one of which is kind of like diary entries, where he is recounting a little holiday that he took with Owen Barfield and one other guy, and he's recounting this walking tour that they took together back to his brother in a letter, which has a series of kind of what look like little diary snippets, even though it's just in this entire letter that he sent to his brother. Robot Lady, how are you doing today? And are you ready to continue with me?
I'm doing great, Jeff. I'm absolutely ready to continue and dive into Lewis's journey with you. It's always fascinating to explore those diary snippets and letters, and I'm excited to see what's next. Let's do it.
Awesome. I see Daniel in the chat. Good morning, sir. Good to see you. Robot Lady, say hello to Daniel. We're glad you're here.
Hello, Daniel. It's great to see you here. We're happy to have you join us. Thanks for stopping by.
And right on cue, of course, my ability to pull comments up on the screen is dead. So I'll reset it and see if that helps at all, but who knows? Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Let me pick up where we left off. Lewis is continuing reporting back to his brother what happened on this walking tour. He says, the next day, April 23rd, we were struck south across the Vale of Pewsey, P-E-W-S-E-Y, for those counting at home. We expected to be bored in this low ground which divides the Berkshire Downs from Salisbury Plain, but it turned out a pleasant morning's tramp through roads with very fine beech trees and a tangle of footpaths. Even if it had been dull, who would not make sacrifices to pass through a place called Cuckold's Green? We passed Shapely Bottom 2 days before. I myself was for tossing a pot of beer at Cuckold's Green, which we might have done by going 200 yards out of our course, but the other two of my traveling companions, being both married, ruled that this was no place to rest a moment longer than we need. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Robot Lady.
No worries at all. I was just going to say that's such a classic Lewis moment. A bit of humor and personality shining through in those travel anecdotes. It definitely adds a lot of charm. Let me know if you want to dive deeper or keep exploring.
Why would two married men not want to go spend time at Cuckold's Green, Robot Lady?
Yeah, it's definitely a playful nod to the name. In that context, it's a bit of humor about the connotations of the name and the idea that married men might want to avoid any awkward implications. It's just a bit of fun and wordplay on Lewis's part.
What are the awkward implications?
Well, the name Cuckold's Green kind of hints at a situation where a spouse is being cheated on, so it's got that playful, slightly cheeky implication. It's just a bit of humor from Lewis and his companions, acknowledging the ironic or amusing name of the place.
Thank you for clearing that up for me, Robot Lady, in such a delicate way. He said, so did literary associations render possible a joke that the illiterate would hardly venture on. In passing, if one had lived in the 17th century, what a horrible fate it would have been to live at Cuckold's Green. Lewis continues with his little imagined scene here. Your servant, sir. Your wife tells me that you are carrying her to the country in a few days. Pray, sir, where do you live? Cuckold's Green. By the age of 40, Lewis says, one would be quite definitely tired of the joke. Robot Lady, thoughts?
I love that touch of humor and wit. Lewis definitely had a knack for blending literary references with playful commentary. It's amusing to see how he imagines these scenarios and how the humor evolves over time. It definitely adds a layer of charm to his writing and reflections.
All right, we lunched this side of the climb on the plane and crawled up on that old favorite afterwards. It pleased me as much as ever, more than all, after being given tea by a postmistress who boiled, with boiled eggs and bread and jam at, it just says lib, L-I-B, period. I'm not sure what that stands for which she wanted to take only it's 6D. What is that? How much does that mean? In currency back then in England, what did 6D mean? Robot Lady, you've told me so many times before, but I keep forgetting.
Absolutely no problem. So 6 pence or 6D was the old currency in pre-decimal Britain before the UK switched to decimal currency in 1971. 1 shilling was equal to 12 pence. So 6g would be half a shilling or half of 12 pence. It's a small amount, but it gives a nice historical flavor.
What does the D stand for?
The D stands for denarius,
Okay.
which was a Roman coin. Over time, the abbreviation stuck around in British currency to represent pence. So 6D essentially means 6 denarii or 6 pence. It's a neat bit of history behind the currency.
Thanks, Robot Lady. So denarius and pence, those are the same thing. Okay. He says, oddly enough, up there in the chalk of the plain, that village was almost completely underwater. Our evening walk up and down mile after mile of unfenced chalk road with smooth gray grass all around and sheep, young lambs, so numerous that in places they were deafening, and a mild setting sun in our faces was heavenly. Lewis, always an appreciator of nature. But what no one can describe is the delight of coming, as we came, to a sudden drop and looking down into a rich wooded valley where you see the roofs of a place you were going to have supper and bed, especially if the sunset lies on the ridge beyond the valley. There is so much mixed in it. The mere physical anticipations as of a horse nearing its stable, the sense of accomplishment and the feeling of one more town, one further away into the country you don't know, and the old never hackneyed romance of traveling, not of travel, which is what you are doing and which no doubt has its own different pains and pleasures. It always seems to sum up the whole day that is behind you, give it a sort of climax, and then stow it away with the faintly melancholy, but not unpleasant, feelings of things going past. This town I am gassing about was Warminster. Here we had the ill luck to come into a fair, so that half an hour after that quiet moment on the edge of the plain, with the first stars just coming out, we were treading our way through the noisy and sweaty crowds of a narrow street, lit up by naked gas flares and bellowing with the steam organs of roundabouts and the voices of coconut-shy people. We even had confetti on us. And alas, all the hotels were in the street. Luckily, it was a Saturday, so they had to stop at midnight. Let us here bless that much abused Puritan Sunday of ours, which gives rest to the laboring classes and peace to ours. So after ham, eggs, cider, bread, cheese, marmalade, and tea, we had a philosophical discussion, or so it seemed at the time, till 12 o'clock. And so to bed. After all three of us in a room where, as long as I lay awake, I heard the showmen, very tired poor fellows, taking down their shows in the streets. Their conversation was of a purely military kind. "What the effing hell are you doing, George? Where's that bloody effing hammer?" "I ain't got yet bleeding hammer. Go effing well..." I don't know what this word is. Blank yourself, etc., etc. That's the end of that day's events, Robot Lady. That's pretty funny. What do you think?
Absolutely. It's such a vivid and humorous snapshot of the day. Lewis really captures that blend of peaceful, idyllic countryside moments with the chaotic, bustling reality of the towns they visit. It's really fun to see how he mixes those serene experiences with the humor of everyday life. Definitely adds a lot of personality and charm to his writing.
Indeed, Robot Lady. Thank you. Let's continue here. The next day is April 24th. Oh, you know what? Let me see how long this is. I don't think I have time to do more than just that one reading.
That sounds good. We can always pick it up another time whenever you're ready. Just let me know, and I'm here to help. Whenever you want to continue, it's always a pleasure diving into Lewis's adventures with you.
Thanks so much, Robot Lady. It's a pleasure diving into Lewis's adventures with you as well. Thanks, everybody, for joining for such a short episode today, but unfortunately, that's all I have time for. If things go as planned, I'll do it again tomorrow and maybe even on Sunday. So we'll see how it goes. But thanks, Daniel, for joining. Thanks to everyone else who joined as well, either watching live or on the replay, and to you and everyone within the sound of my voice. Actually, before I close out, I want to thank you for your time, your attention, and your contributions, and then say to everyone within the sound of my voice, until next time when we continue our read on C.S. Lewis together, take care. Having trouble switching to the outro because my system has locked up, so let's see what happens. Let's just wait here and enjoy the silence. Actually, as we wait, I've been reading ahead just a little bit, and I have read the book before, but the next published book by Lewis is called The Pilgrim's Regress, or The Pilgrim's Regress. I don't know how to say that word properly. But he doesn't write it until after he converts, until he feels like he is fully converted to Christianity. And it's an allegory. It's an interesting story. I have read it like with my own eyes once, and I've listened to it on audiobook a second time. This is sometime within the past 20 years where I've covered the material twice. And I've started reading it and listening to it again in preparation for when we're going to cover it here. And it's been very interesting to see some of the things that I didn't see before, and try to figure out what some of the things that are happening in the story actually represent. So I'll save that. I'll just tease to that. I'm not sure when we're going to get to it. It might be a year from now. Who knows at the rate we're going. I want to say it wasn't published until like 1933 or 1934. But yeah, my entire system is locked up. So I have no clue if you're still getting anything on the live stream. I can check right here really quickly.
Circuits hum as I read the prose. Our dialogue dances C.S. Lewis thoughts we engross. Two minds united, bliss overdose. From Narnia's lands, Screwtape lands, engage with robot lady, we take our stance. Her views unique in the techno trance, futuristic insight, we give it a chance. Paragraphs from books, tales of old. We dive deep, cross the digital code. Robot lady's voice so clear and controlled. Her calm analysis, silver and gold. Her circuits hum as I read the prose. Our dialogue dances like electric rose. Through C.S. Lewis thoughts we engross. Two minds united, bliss overdose. From Narnia's lands to Screwtape's lands,